This isn't just Friday night under the lights. It's every early morning, every rep, every ounce of sweat that built this team. We don't play for stats. We don't play for hype. We play for the man beside us, for the name on our chest, for the tradition we carry every time we step on this field. Behind us, a school, a city, a family. In front of us, 100 yards of purpose. Tonight, we don't just show up. We take over. No fear, no doubt, just fire in our hearts and purple in our blood. We are Calvary, and this is our time.
Welcome into the Calvary Coaches Show, live from Trailer Park Pizza Party on Habersham Street with the head football coach of the Calvary Cavaliers, Jason Cameron. I am Jeffrey Roberts. The Cavaliers picking up win number 5 of the 2025 season this past Friday at home against Long County, and they are now 4-1 in region play. Head coach Cameron, it was an outing. You guys win 47-13. What'd you see? First thoughts?
Oh, really good football game. Offense and defensively, I thought we played really, really well. We were a big play offense. Had some big pass plays. Starting with, I believe Ty Pinckney had a big one. MJ Knight had a huge one, 72-yarder. But defensively, man, we were so, against Long County, who has, I've said it for 2 weeks that they're different, you know what I'm saying, with that power T formation. We had 2 weeks to prepare, and we started on them right away. It wasn't like we kind of focused on anything different. We started on Long County on the bye week, and, man, our defensive game plan was really, really good, and our guys executed really, really well. I think, we held them to not – we got beat by one big, long one, and I think that was about a third of their offense, saying. So it was just a great performance from our defense, and it was one that we needed, definitely defensively.
We'll start on the offensive side of the ball, Coach. You talk about the big play mentality. Chummy, 4 catches for 97 yards. MJ Knight, 2 catches for 75, 1 long touchdown. And then Jalen Hicks, 7 catches, 88 yards. But Pinckney, he's just a sophomore. He had himself 4 catches as well. But it was the second play of the game for you guys from scrimmage when he breaks that long one. How refreshing was a play like that when at times against Jenkins, the offense did stutter a little more than you were used to?
Yeah, it was great. I know that's what we're capable of. And look what you just read off. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to prepare for us when we go, in 4 wide receiver sets because, it's we could throw to any of them. And James is doing a great job of just going through his progression. He's not focusing on MJ or focusing on Chummy or anyone in between. It's kind of like go through progression. What they give us is what we're taking us. We have our 2 high throws that we like. We have our single high throws that we like. And it's just kind of like go through your progression, and you got 4 legit receivers. And we're not even talking about Jonathan Perry, who's our tight end, that unfortunately, some questionable flags have been called on his catches. He's another one he's a great target. So, we got 5 guys that could really, really, catch the football and do things once they get it.
You bring up JP. Talk about his physicality, because there are 2 catches off the top of my head that on this season where I know one of them this past week didn't count, but he lowers the shoulder.
Oh, yeah.
He is, if you were to showcase what a tough runner looks like, what someone after the catch, that's the kind of guy you want to showcase.
Yeah, Jonathan Perry is a college football player. He's he's probably one of our most improved men. He did a phenomenal job in the offseason of focusing on his body and getting stronger. That he knew that's what he needed to do. Jonathan probably should have played last year, in my opinion. Just wasn't physically strong enough or physically ready to kind of be in that mix the entire time. But, man, he had a great offseason. He's gotten physically stronger, and he's a kid, man. It's like I said, like when you look at Max Prep, his stats don't pop out to you, but he's been so important to our program and our ability to run the football and his ability to, stretch defenses out, because he's a pass-catching threat no matter where we put him.
But the balance of the Cavalier offense was on display. Nearly 140 rush yards for the team to go with 331 through the air from James Mobley. 6 players had multiple rushing attempts. I know that towards the latter part of that game, you're throwing in JV, but to say that 6 players got multiple attempts out of the backfield, you don't see that very often in high school football.
No, and it's guys that we would give the ball to in the first quarter. That's the way we practice. When we do inside run, Coach Montague does a great job of getting a lot of running backs touches. We're just starting to mix Emerson Lewis into that running back role. He was getting some receiver reps. We just figured, the best place for him to be impactful on offense is to be him at running back, because we can use him as a pass catcher out of the backfield. But, man, he has some great runs in between the tackle, and he's just going to continue to get better and better with more reps he gets.
Yeah, but on the other side of the ball, I know that's the last couple weeks said where you needed to be. One of those guys that really shined for you is Jay Varner. He's someone who we have on later this afternoon in the show. We'll get more into his story, but he's someone who's flopped opposite sides of the line, but every single rep he goes out there, you can trust a guy like that. With 2 TFLs on Friday, what did you see out of him?
He's just unselfish. Like you just said, Jay's going to do anything we need. If next week we need him at guard and he's going to play offense, that's what he's going to do. He's a team first guy. He's our leader, Jay Varner. He and if you saw him, I say this, I met Jay first as a sophomore, and he's a guy that be a little maybe get in trouble in class or push buttons some. Watching him mature and be our leader on the sideline. We had a guy come off. He was unhappy with the situation, and I look back, and the first person that's already got him on that sideline, talking to him and pushing him through it, is Jay Varner. There's a 6th grader, I believe 6th grader on campus, a D lineman for our middle school, which we'll talk about middle school, loves Jay Varner. And watching him take that like big brother role, and not because of football, he talks more about how he should be behaving in the hallways and how he should represent himself. Man, that's a success for us, man. It means that Calvary made Jay Varner a better person from his sophomore year to his senior year.
We'll get more into Jay in just a little bit, but he was one of 7 players with 5+ total tackles. Emerson Lewis, he led the way with 10, and he had a tackle for loss. But going back to the way that Jay and so many of your players react to things, there's a lot of emotion on this team. After a big play, you're going to see him celebrate. How do you think your team balances staying in it on that competitive level up here, but staying level as you try and teach them?
There's celebrating, and then there's showboating. You know what I'm saying? And there's being, showboating is, it's about you. Celebrating is when you find your teammates and you're celebrating a successful play that maybe your teammate made or you made, and you're surrounded by your guys. That's what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? We're playing with passion. This is a passionate sport. I said it this morning. I said, this game is fun. We lose that sometimes because, you're at Calvary. You're in pressure-packed situations. This is a fun football game. Football is fun, and a lot of these guys have been playing since they've, 4, 5, 6 years old. Go back to making this thing just fun. It's something that you get to do, that you don't have to do. And watching our guys run around on defense and the way they celebrated each other was awesome.
One of the first things you told the team in your pregame pump-up speech after warm-ups was, it feels like it's been a minute since we played some football. To be out there, to have the headset on for you and have the pads on the kids, it just probably felt pretty good, didn't it?
That's awesome. And on top of it, you're being home. You know what I'm saying? We got the best game day atmosphere, around. And it was awesome to get out there. Practice at this point is tough in the sense of like when you have a bye week at this late in the season and it's you get 7, 8 practices in a row. But, this team's a really, really good practice team. But we couldn't wait to kind of get back on our home field, get back in those winning ways and play Calvary football.
Who this week, from a practice standpoint, because this team, it's a short week. We'll get into it just a little bit more with game day being tomorrow and not Friday. But who practice-wise has shined this week going into Islands?
I'm going to kind of flip it a little bit of a guy that filled a void for us when we had a late injury last week during practice. We had John Swindell get injured in practice. I believe it was Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. He's got a back that he's bothering. It kind of went out on him again. And, Mikey Offer, who's been in Calvary his entire life, and he's a kid that's always kind of on the cusp of getting playing time. And, he Wednesday gets subbed in, plays right guard the entire game. And this is a kid that, I actually looked up and realized, hold on, we got to get him off scout team. He's a starter now, but that's just Mikey, man. He's just been, he works really, really hard. He knows he's not where he needs to be, but he fights every rep. So for me, I think Mikey Offer wasn't only just like our practice player, but him being ready to play an entire Friday night football game was awesome.
Well, it was a short week for the Cavaliers, one less day to prepare for the Island Sharks, which is coming up tomorrow. We will get more to that game in just a little bit. But first, our first guest on this week's edition of the Calvary Coaches Show is Jay Varner, a senior defensive lineman we just talked about. We'll hear more of his story next. Welcome back inside the Calvary Coaches Show, live from Trailer Park Pizza Party on Haversham Street with the head coach of the Cavaliers, Jason Cameron. I am Jeffrey Roberts. We are joined by senior defensive lineman Jay Varner, someone who is very used to being in the backfield. He had 2 TFLs on Friday against Long County. Jay, you're a leader on this team. Let's just talk your background in football. It's a sport that you've played, as you said, since you were a little toddler, could barely walk, 4 years old. How did it start for you?
Football started for me. I started with the West Side Whoopers at 4 years old. I transitioned to Atlanta. My family moved to Atlanta, came back, and I played with Boys Club, Frank Callen, the Dungeon, Coach Stanley. So that's just how football started for me. Boys Club all the way to like 12U. Went back to Atlanta, stayed with my mom, played for a 13U team named Camo Spartans, Coach DJ. And then that's when I went to 9th grade. I played for Jonesboro High School, 9th grade. Came to Calvary 10th grade, and that's how I've been going. Yes, sir.
You put on a lot of miles as a kid. Those younger years of football, why was it something that kept, through all the adversity that you had seen moving back and forth between Atlanta and Savannah, why was it a sport that kept you level and grounded?
Because, like, without football, like, what activity, what were you going to do outside of school? Like, and, like, that's just a game I love to play. Like, it wasn't just, at first it was, like, all football practice, but now it's, like, I get to be here. I get to do this. That's how it was from, like, 12U to now. That's how it was, like.
Well, you started at Calvary as a sophomore, same year that Coach Cameron had his first year at Calvary. Coach Cameron, we'll go to you. What do you remember from a sophomore year, Jay Varner? You spoke a little bit about it, how kind of off the field, but both, on and off. What'd you see from a young kid at that age?
Well, we knew he was super talented. You know what I'm saying? Jay's super athletic for his size, and we kind of, he played both sides of the football. What we knew is Jay needed to mature, and he did. Like, and you kind of saw it like overnight. Something like clicked for Jay Varner, and he was like this new kid that took this vocal role and took this leadership role, and played huge snaps for us. But we went all the way to semifinals his first year. Lost to Cedar Grove, and Jay played every snap of that game. He played probably both sides of the ball some. So he was a player that we were blessed to get, and he has been a huge focal point for both our offense and defensive line. Not only just by making tackles for losses and blocking people, but developing into this, like I keep saying, this leader that he's turned into. Like, Jay's maturity is something I'm most proud of. You get me mad at me right now. He texted me on Sunday, not about the game. He texted me on Sunday because he checked his grades and he got 2 of his grades up. Jay wouldn't have done that as a sophomore. He's so focused on trying to be the best version of himself, and that's something I'm super, super proud of him for.
Jay, let's expand on that. Thinking back 2 years ago to yourself, is that something you thought you would be doing, texting your head coach, not about football, but about the education side of things? And then off of that, where did that come from? Why is Calvary a place that kind of brings that out of people?
So, like, 2 years ago, I was just barely making it. Like, probably I had a C. I had C's probably in every class except for strength and conditioning. And so, like, now it's just like I made a big stepping stone. I'm doing way better with my grades. Got a B. I have a B in physics. Economy, math, I have a B plus. Like, I'm just doing way better now. And Calvary is like, it pushes you to a different level. Like, I don't think I ever worked this hard in school in my life. Like, Calvary, like, it's nighttime, tutorial after school. It's like a lot that comes with it. So, like, you got to actually be dedicated and motivated to pass. Like, if you want to pass, and the teachers, they will help you. You just show them you care, they will help you.
When do you think you learned that education can teach life lessons just as much as football, and that putting effort into both will make you a more well-rounded man?
Could you say it again?
When did you kind of learn that? You as a sophomore, a junior, going into your senior year, when in these couple years did you say that, hey, education can really teach me life lessons?
So when it snapped to me, it actually snapped to me this year. I started off the school year. I wasn't doing so good. But then it snapped, like, I got to graduate this year. I talked to my counselor. She said, like, no, I might, like, if I keep going how I'm going, I might not be able to walk the stage. So that's when I realized, like, oh, I got to graduate. Like, so I got to lock in extra tutorial, extra time, complete every assignment, do better on my tests. Because, like, it kicked in this year because like the last couple of years, I just was skating by. Like I was cool skating by. But then that's when I tried to do what I did the past couple of years this year. And it's like a whole different ball game. Like it's different. It's different.
Becoming a leader in the classroom as well as on the football field. This season through 6 games, you got 26 total tackles, 7 tackles for loss. That level of football for you, as you say, you're trying to really break out as a defensive lineman this season. You have 2 college offers. How are you seeing the field right now? How are you, your confidence level when you strap up the pads? What does that look like for Jay Varner on a Friday or Thursday night?
So like my stats right now, I just been playing freely lately, like flowing to the ball, trying to get in on every play. Like it's just all coming together now. Like from sophomore year, I actually talked with my coach. I trained with him, and he said, the Jenkins game, we took a hard L, but he was like, we were actually talking about stuff, and he was like, well, I want to see you get into the ball more, making plays out of your gap. Make sure you get your gap first, but making plays out of your gap. And that's when it clicked in me, like, and then it all came together Friday night. Still doing my assignment, but doing more, giving more effort, flowing around the field. And that's what just came, like, everything.
Well, on that first possession, you had one of those tackles for loss, so it was immediately out of the gates. Coach Cameron, when you guys put together a scheme and, from an outside perspective, it's just numbers that maybe get thrown on a paper, okay, here's where we got to be. But when you can put a face to it and a name to it, does that change the way you prepare for teams when you have a guy like Jay Varner there in the middle?
Yeah, Jay is a guy that we probably make most of our defensive game plans around. You know what I'm saying? I'll use the Southeast Bullet game as an example. I don't think he faced anything less than a triple team all night. So you look at that. So I'm not a big statistics guy. You know what I'm saying? It's just because it's very skewed because Jay made a lot of – he might not have made a lot of tackles, but he made a lot of plays that night. You know what I'm saying? So, Jay's a guy that we could play in multiple positions, play him inside that nose tackle. We could also play him as wide as a 5 technique because of his athleticism. So, majority of our defense is dictated around what Jay's going to do for us. And again, it's most likely if we put Jay here, it's going to open it up for other guys to make plays. And that's what he brings to our defense.
Well, Jay, we'll circle back to football and the rest of the season in just a minute, but something you told me this morning, criminal justice is what you are potentially interested in studying. Aside from going to play college football, why criminal justice? That's, do you want to be a police officer? Do you want to be an investigator? Where on that side of things?
I was going like the lawyer point of view. Like,
okay.
Yes, sir. I just been real interested. Like, I'm joining mock trial this year. Like, I just want to get a feel of things. Like, this is one thing I'm actually interested in. Like, if I was going to go to college, like, if you would asked me 2 years ago, I probably said sports medicine or something. But now, like, I found, like, a major I'm actually interested in.
Yeah, well, that's pretty cool. Well, yeah, what's up?
Look at it. There's not many football players that join mock trial. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just telling you, it's there's just something special about Calvary Day School, man. It brings the best out of people, and you got a D lineman that he's gonna play college football. There's no doubt. But this kid, when football's over, he's not. He's going to join mock trial. That's huge, man. It makes you so well rounded, and that's our goal when we get these kids is not just to see how many tackles Jay can make. It just let's see how well rounded we can make them, and like that just made my whole day. I didn't know he was doing that, so it's like hearing that is just something that just makes me know that God put me in the correct place.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty cool, Jay. Let's just ask the final question about X's and O's. What are some goals you have for yourself that maybe you set going into a senior season, and now that you're on the back half of the regular season, what kind of trajectory do you think you personally and the team are on?
Well, the team, from a team standpoint, we all want to win game 15, but we got to win game 1, game 5. Game 6, game 10. It's just that's what came with it. So everybody want to win state, but it's the games coming to state. Last year Islands game, I sprained my ankle last year versus Southeast Bullet, ankle sprain. So I probably sat out Windsor. I think I sat out Johnson too. So like last year I probably was one of those guys who would say we playing Islands. I'm hurting, coach. But now I'm like, I get to be here. I get to play football. I get to make plays. And that's what it's about. So like everybody on the same page I'm on the same page and everybody on the same page. So that's just that's good.
Yeah. Well, the Cavaliers are getting prepared for Game 7 of hopefully 15 tomorrow at Islands at 7 o'clock kick. You can see Jay Varner, who is trending upward in his senior season. Jay, appreciate you being on the Calvary Coaches Show, and
Yes,
good luck
sir.
tomorrow.
Thank you.
When we come back, Michael Carswell, a longtime member of the Calvary community, joins the Calvary Coaches Show. Welcome back inside the Calvary Coaches Show, live from Trailer Park Pizza Party on Habersham Street, just north of Henry. I'm Jeffrey Roberts, joined by history teacher, coach, associate AD, a man with many hats, Michael Carswell. Carswell, education is something that you have been invested in and involved in for so much of your life. I mean, where did it start? When did you realize you wanted to work in education?
It was really my high school coaches and high school teachers where I made up my mind. Now I went to college and majored in business because all the adults in my life told me I had to go make money and do those things. But I knew in my heart at that point in time that I wanted to teach and coach. And then when I graduated from college, I just fell into it. I saw one of my old Spanish teachers from high school that I loved and adored. He asked me what I wanted to do. I said I wanted to teach and coach. And he made a couple phone calls. And as they say, the rest is history.
You said that after you studied 4 years of business, 4 years that you did not enjoy, as
No.
you said, you backpacked for 10 weeks. You went and saw every national park in the country, and that's when you fell into that first role. You thankful that call that you ran into your old Spanish teacher, and that's what started this?
Again, yeah, gracious, yes. As well as God has a plan. A number of places along my path, God has intervened and given me a gentle nudge to move here or move there. And, kids have an effect on me as well as hopefully I've had a positive effect on them.
And those first early years for you were up in the northeast of the country. Where are you from? Connecticut was where you were based in those first couple education jobs.
Yeah, gracious. I was born in Indiana, so I'm a Hoosier and a basketball fan at heart. And then Dad was transferred to New York City when I was 8. So I grew up in Connecticut, taught in a number of different schools in Connecticut. Then I actually got as far north as the Canadian border, coaching college football and baseball at St. Lawrence University, and then have gradually worked my way south. Most of my career has been in boarding environment until I moved to Savannah about 25 years ago. That's the first true day environment I've been in.
In that St. Lawrence University up near Canada, that's a football and baseball coach. You got paid to do your master's there. Those middle steps where you got to really lean into the coaching side, but still get that education. How important and transformative were those years?
It was very transformative because that was a Division III school, so it was more about athletics as well as relationships with the kids. You didn't have those premier athletes that you have at the D1 level. So I learned how to use film and be very intricate in the designs of plays and knowing that, hey, as a coach, you're teaching more than you're actually coaching. You're really teaching life's lessons. And if you get knocked down, get back up, get after it again, learn. Hey, make a mistake and you're defeated or whatever, that's just a learning experience. It doesn't define you. It becomes a defining moment. You just keep striving to get better. And that really inspired me to instill that attitude and that mentality in all the kids I coached or taught.
Well, after your first college coaching role, you get an AD job, Charlottesville, Virginia, and then a couple stops later, it's the AD job at Country Day that bring you down to Savannah. Your coaching history, are you glad that you were a coach before you were an AD? Did you see the way athletic departments were run from a different perspective before you were in that top role?
Yeah, I think I worked for some real good people that were athletic directors as well as real good people that were coaches that just defined the right way to do things, as well as there were also some occasions where I learned, hey, I don't want to do that. I think I hearken back to what Charles Barkley said a long time ago about, we're all role models. Sometimes we're a positive role model. Sometimes we're a negative role model. But you got to be true to who you are and then hope that the positive aspects wear off on everybody, as well as hopefully the negative ones are like learning opportunities for them, as well as I've learned a great deal from the students I've coached in areas I needed to improve and be better.
Well, being you, as in Michael Carswell, is very important. You came to Calvary about 20 years ago, just shy of 20 years. You said this school has allowed you to be you since taking over that history department chair and the various roles. Why is Calvary a place that relationships and making sure that the individual is important is a place that breeds that?
Well, number one, I stepped back out of administration, so I was back into the classroom and coaching. So it allowed me to develop those relationships that are so important at Calvary, as well as the mentality I have is if you see it, you own it. And that means if somebody's misbehaving, you step in, and it's not about punishment. It's more about correction and all that stuff. So I could step in where somebody goofed up or erred in their ways, as well as, hey, if you see somebody that's struggling or down, you can step in and give them a hug and a squeeze and encourage them. So as well as just being a Yankee and, as my kids told me last week, older or 6'7", however, that fits into things. I'm just from
viewership with the
yeah. So I'm just old school, and I mean goofy, I guess I could say is what would tie into things. But at the same point in time, very strict in my commitment and dedicated to bringing people up right.
Well, it's been nearly 50 years in education for you. And you said that one of your favorites is that it's a different day every morning. Every day you come to campus, something's different, whether that be what you do in your role with athletics, what you're teaching in the classroom. The challenge of that, I'm sure, is pretty enticing, more so than a 9 to 5 in a cubicle.
Yeah, but it's also, there's no rut. You don't get into a rut because every day is different, as well as, at Calvary, we're given the freedom to minister to our kids, as well as there are a number of things that happen in society or just happen in the school that it's important. Hey, you help the kids understand what's going on. It's not always, okay, we've got to learn about history today. No, hey, I can step away and talk about what's going on in the Supreme Court, or why was this decision made on the part of the city council or even part of the leadership at Calvary. So again, just educating the kids and teaching them how to handle things as it comes their way.
A lot of thankless roles and a lot of thankless jobs that you find yourself doing on a lot of days for our athletic department. For you, when are those moments that it hits you that, this is why I'm doing it? Whether that be watching our athletes hoist a trophy, whether that be a good sportsmanship moment, what is Carswell's why on those kind of thankless roles that at times you find yourself in?
Well, number one, I don't think of them as thankless, but I don't look for immediate rewards in it, as well as just in my heart, I know I'm doing the right thing. But the biggest moment that really comes home is literal, when the students come home, or past students contact you. Just last week I had a young man I coached at Kentucky Wesleyan College reach out and say, hey, I'm hoping you are the guy that coached me here and everything. I'm just checking in because I needed to. And it's been a good 20 years since I've seen Jed. But those are the things that bring it home in terms of, stay the course. Do what you're doing. And trust in your heart and your feeling and, God's gentle hand nudging you in that direction.
Well, something that you're very involved in is the Nolan Smith Foundation. He was a former athlete that was on campus at Calvary. Can you kind of talk about that message? What is the Nolan Smith Foundation's, were they rooted, and what is your role in trying to progress that?
They're rooted in Nolan and his family. His mom and his grandmother are just outstanding women, to be looked up, admired, and mimicked and copied and all those things. And they raised a quality young man in Nolan to a point of where he understands it's not about me, it's about giving back to the community. And the community he grew up in, the biggest thing one of the bigger things he does is bicycles. He does a drive for bicycles because as a kid, he never had a bicycle. So he saw a need and stepped into that void there. He also raises money through his golf tournament. And this year, they were fortunate enough to scholarship 2 young golfers to college, to go on and play in college and everything. But again, it's all about service and giving back. And I'd like to think, hey, I was a part of teaching Nolan that hey, it's who you are that's more important. My dad told me a long time ago, it was actually a cutout he gave me from Sports Illustrated that says, fame is fleeting, money takes wings, character endures forever. And I've tried instilling that in all of my kids, and Nolan epitomizes that.
Would you change anything about your journey?
Oh, gracious, I think about that all the time. No, I really would not change it. Well, I'd make all educators get paid more, but no, I don't think there's anything in my journey. Every step along the way, God was involved and made me overall a better person, as well as then just looking back at the lives that I have affected. No, I wouldn't change anything. I loved all the areas I was in and the people that I've met and coached with and taught with, and just that brotherhood and sisterhood throughout my career.
Well, Carswell, we appreciate you taking the time after a busy day of teaching, and before you go help set up for the middle school postseason games, taking time to come on the Calvary Coaches Show.
I appreciate it.
Well, all right. Tonight, Calvary Middle School football is hosting the semifinal round of the SPAL postseason. After the break, Coach Cameron and I talk more about those programs and how they're finding success. Bluffton Fence and Gutter is a proud partner of Calvary Day Athletics. Welcome back inside the Calvary Coaches Show, live from Trailer Park Pizza Party. A big week for the Cavalier varsity football team, but the postseason starts tonight for the middle school programs. At 5:30, the 5th and 6th grade team kicks off against Country Day at SSC, and that's followed by the 7th and 8th grade teams at 7 o'clock. It's $5 entry for all adults and students. Coach Cameron, you are head of the football programs here at Calvary Day. You have a lot of coaches in place that middle school program is a well-oiled machine that I'm sure you're maybe not as worried as you need to be.
Oh yeah, we're really hands-on. Myself and my staff that one of our first things that we decided and pretty much I told our staff is that we're gonna be really hands-on with our middle school. And let me tell you how good of hands they're in. So our 5th and 6th grade team, man, if you haven't watched them play, it's impressive. Coach Barnes and his staff, they do a really good job. I believe that 5th and 6th grade team is up to like 42 guys. Man, it's such a huge number. They do a great job of getting them prepared. Man, first game I went to, man, I was super impressed with the way they communicated on defense, the way they tackled, the way they block on the perimeter on offense. It's just like, man, this is amazing for a 5th and 6th grade team. And then, you go up to 7th and 8th grade, and that's been kind of a real steady group of guys that have been doing it. Coach Griffin, is as good as they come. He's on varsity staff on baseball. He's a high school football coach in middle school. So, Thomas Carver is their offense coordinator. If you haven't watched him play, I was at Jenkins at the time. I love coming over here watching him play quarterback. So, they are in such good hands, and they are so well coached, and it shows, man. If you have not seen our middle school play yet, it is super impressive the way they play football.
Calvary as a school does a great job of segueing that K through 12 really is one unit, just at times in different buildings. It's the same way for the football programs to be able to have that foundation, the confidence it gives you as a coach to be able to look big picture and say, I like where we're at, not just because of the varsity team you have now, but who is coming down the road when inevitably graduation occurs. The big picture is something I'm sure you don't have to stress about very much, and why is that a positive for a program?
But obviously the talent's there, but the best part of it is that we get to build relationships right now. So I know those kids by first name. They know me by name, because they see me in the hallway, dap me up, hey, Coach Cam. Half of them, like, beg me to stay on Friday. They do team meal with us, if they're around, and they help on the sideline and things like that. It's such a personal relationship. It's not just, you get them as a ninth grade and you're just meeting them. Like, I'm getting to know these kids as 13-year-olds, as 12-year-olds, and it's awesome. And it's like, it's kind of similar to that Jay Varner story. Now, you're not only seeing them grow up from a sophomore to senior, but you're seeing this, 12-year-old, almost baby, to now, God willing, being a senior in high school, and watching them grow, man. That is so awesome. And it's just another reason why, like, you love coaching. I heard Coach Carswell say, why he got an education. My answer is the same. My high school football coach was like a second dad to me. So at that point, I was like, I'm going to teach and coach football. So it's just being able to be involved in these kids' life at such a young age. It's awesome.
And I know that your son, he is getting into football, and that when he comes time to play middle school football, just the personal side of that as a dad, a football dad, I mean, that you got to feel good about where your son goes during practice.
Oh, yeah. And here's the thing, like, bringing even in a whole age younger, we brought back the 10U Crusaders team that practices at Calvary, and we got the best 10U coach in the country. Mark Stroud is one of the coaches on that staff, and it's like, so, people ask me, are you going to let your son play football? And I said, yes, if he wants to. And then knowing that he's going to be coached by Coach Stroud and being understood how to play football. And listen, it was some bumps in the roads, man. He had the tears, he had the smiles, he had everything in between, but he loves playing football. Listen, we were going to go out of town this weekend, and they got a game on Saturday, and he's like, hey, I'll stay with Grandma. I got a game on Saturday. So, that makes me know that the future is very, very bright. We got them as 10-year-olds, and hopefully, we get to see them all the way up to their senior year.
Well, the strong foundation leads to success at the varsity level. The 5-1 Cavaliers are going to Islands tomorrow on Thursday because of fall break Friday and Monday. Coach, it was a day shorter than you usually get to prepare. Does it just show how valuable every single day is about preparing in a game plan?
That's what we told our guys. Sometimes we try not to have bad practices. You have some that are better than others. But we told them this week you don't have the luxury of having that off day because we're one day short. So we did switched up some periods. We're very regimented, when we do 1st and 10, when we do 2-minute, when we do red zone, when we do all that kind of stuff. So we kind of ad-libbed it a little bit. I'm used to this from, coaching in Chatham County when you played Thursday, Friday, or maybe even a Saturday where you had the extra day. So, we got a great staff, man. We met on Sunday. We put a great plan in place, and the kids, like I said before, man, they're practice guys. They came out and they approached this thing like we've talked about all week, the entire time, is that every game for us is a blessing. Every game, as you heard Jay Varner said, we get to do this. And, we're preparing, hopefully, for game 11 through 15.
Yeah. Well, the opponent this week for the Cavaliers, the Island Sharks, they are 1-5 overall, 1-4 in the region. They picked up a win a few weeks ago for the first time in a few years. Coach Perry over there really doing a great job in year one as head coach. What do you see from a program like that who maybe the wins aren't coming, but they have 40-plus kids on the sideline each week? That, I think, shows the state of the program more so than a record does.
Early on in the summer, I was still living out towards Wilmington Island. I'd almost passed there going home, and you see them out there grinding in the summer just like everybody else, 45, 50 kids out there. Coach Perry's been in this business for a long, long time, and when you watch film of them, they are prepared. They play really, really hard. Their scheme is executed, and they're doing a phenomenal job over there. I'm not surprised that they got their first win in a while because that program, in my opinion, is heading in the right direction from the sense of organization and schematics.
Yeah, well, the game plan for a team in Islands, there has been a lot of success for Calvary this season, but now's the point of the year where you said you get a little nitpicky, that maybe some things you didn't think that would be on the table of conversation just because they are excelling at the things you want them to. What does that nitpickiness look like in a week like this against Islands and then moving forward?
Understanding, like I said, if we're preparing for for weeks 11 through 15, you're getting to the point where you got to play perfect football. You're going to play against really, really good teams, and it starts this Thursday with Islands, where we still got to put a complete game together. We muffed a punt last week, which I didn't like. certain things that happen in practice. Let's say we didn't execute some things we put in this week on punt that I didn't like, so we want to continue. We don't look at it as game by game. We want to look at it as day by day, and it's another day that we need to get better. We are still not I told them, I said, I don't mean this anything to be ugly. I don't think we're a great football team yet. We got the potential to be, but we still got to go in every single day thinking our back's against the wall, and we got to punch our way out and continue to become better.
Well, the Cavaliers, they look at every game as a region championship, as Coach Cameron says. The next one up is tomorrow, Thursday, October 9th. It's a 7 p.m. kick from Islands High School. The Cavaliers are at third place in the region standings. And, Coach, you're hoping to win out. Now that, you don't have that full control of the region, what does the standings look like from your point of view? And how do you make sure that your kids really feel that every week is for the region when it's all said and done?
Yeah, it's funny. We don't pay attention to a lot about the standings. You know what I'm saying? I knew that, like the Jenkins loss obviously puts us behind in winning a region championship. But what we get to do is go 1-0 every week. So that's kind of been our approach. Every single week that Monday hits, we enjoy, God willing, we enjoy a win. And then, Monday comes, we're 0-0, and our goal is to go 1-0. And not against Islands. Our goal is to go 1-0 against ourselves. We feel if on any given Friday, if we play a perfect Calvary brand of football, we have a really good chance to win.
All right. All that's left to do this week is play Game 7 of the 2025 football season. As mentioned, that is a 7 p.m. kick from Islands High School. For the head coach of the Calvary Day Cavaliers, Jason Cameron, I am Jeffrey Roberts. We'll talk to you from Trailer Park Pizza Party on Habersham Street next week.